It was a cold winter evening in 1997 when the Johnson family's quiet suburban home experienced its final moment of normalcy. Neighbors recalled seeing the warm glow of the living room lights, the faint sound of the TV, and the silhouette of the parents preparing dinner. Nothing seemed unusual, nothing alarming. But sometime between 7:45 and 8:10 p.m., everything inside that house froze. The TV remained on. The food sat untouched. Both cars stayed in the driveway. And yet, the family of four had vanished without leaving so much as a footprint outside. No signs of struggle, no forced entry, just an eerie, sudden stillness that would haunt investigators for decades. It was a cold winter evening in 1997 when the Johnson family's quiet suburban home experienced its final moment of normalcy. Neighbors recalled seeing the warm glow of the living room lights, the faint sound of the TV, and the silhouette of the parents preparing dinner. Nothing seemed unusual, nothing alarming. But sometime between 7:45 and 8:10 p.m., everything inside that house froze. The TV remained on. The food sat untouched. Both cars stayed in the driveway. And yet, the family of four had vanished without leaving so much as a footprint outside. No signs of struggle, no forced entry, just an eerie, sudden stillness that would haunt investigators for decades. When the Johnsons didn't show up for work or school the next morning, neighbors grew uneasy. Two of them entered the house after finding the front door strangely unlocked. What they saw inside felt wrong in every possible way. Dinner plates neatly set on the table, steam still trapped inside a pot of soup, and the TV playing a children's cartoon on low volume. The chairs were pushed back as if the family had stood up suddenly. A half-written math assignment lay on the couch. Everything looked paused, frozen mid-life. But the family? Nowhere. No bags missing, no coats taken, no car keys disturbed. It was as if they stood up, walked toward the door, and simply dissolved into the air. Police arrived within an hour, sealing off the house, unsure whether they were dealing with a disappearance, a crime scene, or something far stranger. As they combed through the kitchen, an officer found a small folded paper placed neatly beside the salt shaker. The handwriting was shaky, rushed, almost frightened. The message read, "We had to leave. Forgive us." No names, no explanation. And when investigators checked, the note contained no fingerprints at all, as if someone had wiped it clean on purpose. But why? And how could a family of four vanish without touching anything on their way out? The note felt less like a goodbye and more like a warning. Forensic teams expected chaos, fingerprints, fibers, footprints, anything that suggested normal life. But the house was disturbingly sterile. The countertops were wiped, doorknobs spotless, and even the children's toys had no prints at all. It was as if someone erased every trace of human presence. Detectives knew this wasn't natural. Families don't clean every surface before vanishing. And yet, nothing was stolen, nothing broken. The Johnson home looked lived in, but untouched. This contradiction tore open a chilling theory. Either the family meticulously removed every trace of themselves, or someone else did after taking them. By checking phone records, police discovered the mother, Linda Johnson, had made a call just 2 minutes before the estimated time of disappearance. The call lasted only 6 seconds. No words, no breathing, just a faint static noise, almost like wind passing through a narrow tunnel. Audio technicians enhanced the sound and detected something chilling, a single, distant whisper, impossible to identify. The whisper lasted less than a second, and experts insisted it was no radio interference. Whatever Linda heard or whoever spoke was enough to make that final call a desperate attempt for help or a last warning. Security cameras from a house across the street recorded something baffling. At exactly 8:03 p.m., the Johnson living room light flickered violently, then went completely dark for exactly 1 minute and 7 seconds. When the light returned, nothing unusual appeared on camera, except one detail. The curtains had shifted slightly, as if someone had brushed past them. Investigators repeated the footage dozens of times, Analyzing frame by frame, no figures appeared, no shadows moved, no doors opened. Yet the family was gone after that blackout. Whatever happened inside the house occurred during that missing minute. Beyond the backyard, dense woods stretched for miles. Search teams entered the forest, expecting at least footprints or clothing. Instead, they found a strange formation: 5 circles of disturbed soil arranged in a perfect line. No prints, no tools, no explanation. Soil experts said the pattern was deliberate, but couldn't determine how it was made without leaving tracks. Some locals whispered old legends about the forest stories of people disappearing after hearing a voice calling their name. Police dismissed it as superstition, but the timing and the circles made even experienced detectives uneasy. Inside the younger child's bedroom, investigators found drawings pinned on the wall. Most were typical animals, stars, family portraits. But one drawing stood out: a tall, dark figure standing beside the family house. The figure had no face, no hands, just a long silhouette stretching unnaturally toward the roof. The child wrote one word underneath: visitor. Experts couldn't confirm when the drawing was made, but the ink was fresh. Had the child seen someone? Or something? The figure didn't match any known suspect, and every explanation only deepened the horror. Inside the younger child's bedroom, investigators found drawings pinned on the wall. Most were typical animals, stars, family portraits. But one drawing stood out: a tall, dark figure standing beside the family house. The figure had no face, no hands, just a long silhouette stretching unnaturally toward the roof. The child wrote one word underneath: visitor. Experts couldn't confirm when the drawing was made, but the ink was fresh. Had the child seen someone? Or something? The figure didn't match any known suspect, and every explanation only deepened the horror. During the investigation, the family's home phone rang 3 times at 2:14 a.m. Officers on site answered, but heard only static and a faint rhythmic tapping, almost like coded knocks. When technicians traced the call, they found it originated from an impossible location: a disconnected phone line deep in the forest, unused for over 12 years. Workers confirmed the line wasn't even physically connected to a power source. Yet the call happened, and it targeted only the Johnson house. On the 3rd day, search dogs detected a scent trail leading toward the edge of the woods. For half a mile, clear footprints appeared: 2 adults, 2 children walking in a straight line. Then suddenly, the prints stopped. Not faded, not washed, completely gone. As if the family took one last step and disappeared mid-air. A helicopter scan found no disturbed soil, no fall, no animal activity. It defied logic. The prints ended in the middle of a flat clearing with nowhere to hide. Investigators privately admitted it felt like the family walked out of reality itself. A week later, a structural engineer noticed something odd. The house's floor plan didn't match its interior layout. After hours of searching, they found a concealed door behind the master bedroom closet. Inside was a tiny hidden room: no windows, no furniture, just bare walls covered in scratch marks. Dozens of small lines carved into the wall seemed to form dates, and one date was circled repeatedly: the 14th of December, 1997, the night the family disappeared. No one could explain who carved them, or why the Johnsons never mentioned this secret room. It was as if someone had been counting down. Multiple witnesses came forward claiming they saw the family earlier that day. A gas station attendant remembered the father acting distracted, constantly glancing at the woods behind the station. A teacher said the older child asked, "Do people disappear if they're being followed?" in a trembling voice. These sightings revealed a terrifying possibility. The family sensed something was wrong long before the disappearance. But what were they running from? A person, a presence, or something only they could perceive? 2 months later, archived police files about the Johnson case mysteriously vanished from the evidence storage room. No signs of forced entry, no camera footage tampered, and no fingerprints. The logbook showed that nobody had checked out the files, and yet everything related to the case, photos, tapes, reports, was gone. Officers believed someone inside the department might be covering something up, but when they checked old digital backups, the files weren't missing. They were never recorded at all, as if the case erased itself from the system. One of the last officers assigned to the case later reported hearing something during a nighttime sweep in the forest. He claimed a soft whisper called his name from multiple directions at once. Terrified, he ran back to his patrol car and refused to re-enter the woods. Though dismissed as stress-induced hallucination, his body cam recorded faint audio of what sounded like children giggling, followed by a soft tap on the camera lens. Audio analysts couldn't explain the recording. The sound didn't match wind, animals, or human voices. Whatever it wasn't alone.